Hi, I'm Mary Phillips and this is Jaden. So Jaden has the most beautiful, defined, bold brows. I'm just gonna kind of clean them up, shape and sculpt, and just make them nice and polished. I'm gonna start with the brown lash brush. I always just like to kind of comb through, see what exactly is going on with the brows. So her brows have a little bit of curl to them. So what you kind of want to do when brows have curl to them, you kind of want to brush them up first, kind of brush them down. Sometimes they can kind of be like wrapped around each other. And next I'm gonna go in with the flat brush and spoolie. This brush is great when you have a little bit of like a thicker, denser hair on the brow. So I always like to kind of make myself a little stencil. And I always start right where this like little curve is in the nostril. And I'll make a little mark. Mark the inside. And then there's like this imaginary line from the corner of your nose to the corner of your eye and up. So I'm just gonna put a little dot of powder there. And this is just kind of like mapping out my plan for what we're gonna do. And again, the corner of your eye. Usually the arch in the brow starts right outside the pupil on the outside. So I always like to start on the top. And this is really great to do because a lot of times, you know, we're in our magnifying mirrors, tweezing, and you know, you're like, oops, was that one supposed to come out? Was that not supposed to come out? So this way is just kind of like a guarantee that you won't take anything outside of the line. And now I'm gonna go under the brow and just make my line. Again, I'm just kind of making a stencil. So now I have a good guide of what I kind of want to remove and what I want to take away. So I'm just going to leave the lines like that. I'm going to go in with my slant tweezer. And sometimes I like to just kind of pull the brow taut a little bit. It just kind of helps the hair come out easier. And it also is a little bit more comfortable. And again, I'm going to use a little bit of translucent powder and just kind of run it along using the brow shaping brush. You always want to make sure when you're using the slant tweezer that you get as close to the root as possible and pull in the direction that the hair grows. That way the hair doesn't break off. So the angle of the slant tweezer is really perfect. It just kind of sits perfectly against the brow bone and makes it really easy to get like super close to the skin, you know, and getting as close to the root of the hair as possible. And she has some little tiny hairs that are like poking through the surface, so I'm gonna use the point tweezer and go in and grab those guys. The point tweezer is such a great tool. It's so precise. It's great to grab any little vine hairs, little hairs that are like kind of peeking through the surface. It picks up anything that you don't get with the slant tweezer. And again, I'm gonna start on top. And just grab any of these little strays. Now I'm going to take this eyebrow spoolie and brush everything up. And I'm going to trim just a little bit of these hairs. I like to do like one at a time just so everything's not the same length and it looks a little more natural and feathered. I'm gonna get this side. And I wanna leave them a little bit longer just because real feathery brows are so popular right now. I kind of wanna have hers to have a little bit of that. Okay, so now I'm gonna start filling in a little bit. I'm gonna use a little bit of a dark brown powder. And this flat brush is great because you can go in and just make upward strokes. It gives the brow much more definition and looks more like hair. The flat brush with the spoolie is perfect for Jaden's brows. She has a little bit of a denser, thicker hair, so it's really able to cut through the hair better than the angle brush is. Flat, straight, and thin bristles are definitely better at targeting a fuller brow. And I'm gonna use the flat brush actually as well to apply a little bit of concealer on her brow bone just to kind of make the shape look extra sharp. This brush is great for that because you can literally just get right up against it and it just lays the cream down perfectly. And then I'm gonna take the brow shaping brush and just blend it into that. So I'm just blending that cream into her skin and just creating a really seamless, you know, fresh and smooth look on her brow. It just makes it look real clean. It just looks like it's really nice and fresh and helps the brow like stand out a little bit more. And then I'm gonna use the brow shaping brush and just kind of blend that in. And just soften it up. So now I'm gonna use the spoolie on the other side of the flat brush to apply some brow gel. And it's great because it really just cuts through the hairs, separates them absolutely perfectly, and stands them up. And the same thing on this side. So that's it. This completes our bold, defined, natural, full brow look.